Should any of my respected readers or listeners ever have happened to be cut by glass, they will know what an exceedingly nasty thing it is and how long it takes to heal. Marie was obliged to stay in bed a whole week because she felt so terribly giddy whenever she tried to stand up. But at last she was quite well again and able to jump about as of old. Things in the glass cupboard looked very fine indeed, everything new and shiny, trees and flowers and houses, toys of every kind. Above all, Marie found her dear Nutcracker again, smiling at her in the second shelf, with his teeth all sound and right. As she looked at this pet of hers with much fondness, it suddenly struck her that all Godpapa Drosselmeyer's story had been about Nutcracker and his family feud with Dame Mouserink and her people. And now she knew that her Nutcracker was none other than young Mr. Drosselmeyer of Nuremberg, Godpapa Drosselmeyer's delightful nephew, unfortunately under the spells of Dame Mouserink. For while the story was being told, Marie couldn't doubt for a moment that the clever clockmaker at Pirlipat's father's court was Godpapa Drosselmeyer himself. "But why didn't your uncle help you? Why didn't he help you?" Marie cried sorrowfully, as she felt more and more clearly every moment that in the battle which she had witnessed, the question it dispute had been no less a matter than Nutcracker's crown and kingdom. But all the other toys his subjects, and wasn't it clear that the astronomer's prophecy that he was to be rightful king of Toyland had come true? While the clever Marie was weighing all these things in her mind, she kept expecting that Nutcracker and his vassals would give some indications of being alive and make some movements as she looked at them. This, however, was no means the case. Everything in the cupboard kept quite motionless and still. Marie thought this was the effect of Dame Mouserink's enchantments, and those of her seven-headed son, which still were keeping up their power. But, she said, though you're not able to move, or to say the least little word to me, dear Mr. Drosselmeyer, I know you understand me, and see how very well I wish you. Always reckon on my assistance when you require it. At all events, I will ask your uncle to aid you with all his great skill and talents whenever there may be an opportunity." Nutcracker still kept quiet and motionless, but Marie fancied that a gentle sigh came breathing through the glass cupboard, which made its panes ring in a wonderful, though all but imperceptible manner, while something like a little bell-toned voice seemed to sing, "Marie, fine angel mine, I will be thine, if thou wilt be mine." Although a sort of cold shiver ran through her at this, still it caused her the keenest pleasure. Twilight came on. Marie's father came in with Godpapa Drosselmeyer, and presently Louise set out the tea table, and the family took their places round it, talking in the pleasantest and merriest manner about all sorts of things. Marie had taken her little stool and sat down at her Godpapa's feet in silence, and when everybody happened to cease talking at the same time, Marie looked at her Godpapa full in the face with her great blue eyes, and said, "I know now, Godpapa, that my Nutcracker is your nephew, young Mr. Drosselmeyer from Nuremberg. The prophecy has come true. He is a king and a prince, just as your friend the astronomer said he would be. But you know as well as I do that he is at war with Dame Mouserink's son, that horrid king of the mice. Why don't you help him?" Marie told the whole story of the battle as she had witnessed it, and was frequently interrupted by the loud laughter of her mother and sister. But Fritz and Drosselmeyer listened quite gravely. "Where's the name of goodness has the child got her head filled with all that nonsense?" cried her father. "Oh, she has such a lively imagination, you see," said her mother. "She dreamt it all when she was feverish with her arm." "Oh, it's all nonsense," cried Fritz, "and it isn't true. My red hussars are not such cowards as all that. If they were, do you suppose I would command them?" But Godpapa smiled strangely, and took little Marie on his knee, speaking more gently to her than ever he had been known to do before. "More is given to you, Marie dear," he said, "than to me or the others. You are a born princess, like Pirlipat, and reign in a bright, beautiful country. But you still have much to suffer if you mean to befriend poor transformed Nutcracker, for the king of the mice lies in wait for him at every turn. But I cannot help him. You, and you alone, can do that. So be faithful and true." Neither Marie nor any of the others knew what Godpapa Drosselmeyer meant by these words, but they struck Dr. Stahlbaum, Marie's father, as being so strange that he felt Drosselmeyer's pulse and said, "There seems to be a good deal of congestion about the head, my dear sir. I'll write you a little prescription." But Marie's mother shook her head meditatively and said, "I have a strong idea what Mr. Drosselmeyer means, though I can't exactly put it in words."